The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday, and welcome to Might Be Brews. I'm your host, John, and let's go around and introduce everybody tonight. Steve, what's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody? I have off tomorrow, so we're doing it up tonight.
We're going hard. The producer man, the man behind the board, my brother Taylor. What's up, buddy?
What up? How you guys doing?
What up?
I have work tomorrow, but I'm still drinking. Nice.
Me too. And we have a very special guest in the house tonight, our buddy Brett. What's going on, Brett?
Hey, how's it going?
Brett,
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for being here. I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Kilefner.
Yeah.
Hard
Okay.
F.
I look at it all the time, and I'm like, I'm going to stay away from that. It's like, it's Brett. Luckily, I don't know any other Bretts.
What, one
So I
T.
don't have-
One T.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about the last name at all.
Look at the big brain on Brett.
Brett.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
In the movie, it's Brad.
Brad, yeah.
I guess, but
I think
that's
Brad.
what I thought of. I was like, oh, look at the big brain on
Yeah.
Brad.
I use that one a lot every time I see a Brad.
Sorry, it's my favorite movie.
It's all right.
I can't help but like tie things to Pulp Fiction sometimes. It just happens.
Oh, it's such a good movie. We'll talk about that one day. But hey, listen, everybody, follow us on social media. If you're listening, please check out our social media account. Whatever your preference is, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The handle is @MightBeBrews. Also, check out the website, mbnnetwork.com. You can listen to our podcast right there on the site. Plus, there's links to all the other shows, so make sure you check all those out. And follow the network, too, at Might Be News 247
On
right?
Twitter, yeah.
On Twitter.
Yep.
So you can follow them there as well.
You can search for the Might Be News Network on Facebook as well. And when you go to any of these platforms that you want to stream from, you'll just see a straight up list of chronological order of episodes that the network puts out. Take a look, take a listen. A whole bunch of stuff there.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and crack a beer. We're going to do things a little bit backwards. We're going to start with Drink It or Sink It. So, Steve, you brought Drink It or Sink It this week. What did you bring?
Yeah, it's my turn for Drink It or Sink It. We're doing a little classic Pilsner. We're going with the Victory Prima Pils.
Nice.
I wanted to bring this for a couple reasons, and I want to have everybody drink it before I go into those reasons.
Sounds good. So, Brett, let's talk to you for a minute. Let's learn a little bit about you. I brought you up on a previous episode. You ran the New York Marathon recently, right?
I did.
So, how was that? What did it take to? I mean, there's a million questions that you can ask about somebody who's into doing marathons, but what made you want to do the New York Marathon?
I had a bunch of different reasons why I ended up choosing that. It's a big race. Meant a lot to run for my wife's sister.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of dedicate that race to her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. A marathon's never easy, but
Yeah.
to get out there, it's always fun to see everybody out celebrating, and then after you're done, you get to celebrate with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many different marathons have you run? What's your total marathon count?
I've run 10. I've done 6 different ones. So
Better man than I.
I hear you. It's crazy. I always feel like people who are marathon runners, it's just, I guess, like there's that stigma around it, or the, I don't know what you would call it, but every time you talk to somebody, they want to put it in your face that they're marathon runners sometimes. You know what I mean? They have the stickers on their car and they always want to talk about it and whatever. But I had no idea that you ran. I remember we were drinking beers out back of my house the one time. And I was like, dude, what do you do to stay in shape? Like, I'm sure that we probably drank similar amount of beers, in a week, let's say. And how are you so fit? And you were like, I ran 16 miles today. I was like, what?
I keep it under wraps.
Yeah. But that's pretty sweet. So I know we kind of talked about it on the podcast before when I brought it up, but what do you do to prepare for something like that? How often were you running?
I run 6 days a week, and it just kind of progressively gets more and more and more until race day.
Yeah. Do you watch your diet at all? Do you eat any differently or drink less as it gets closer to race time?
I probably drink more. Gotta start carbo loading. So
Yeah?
the farther you go, the more you can drink, right?
That's interesting. That's so crazy. And now that you're done the race, how much are you running?
Nowhere near what I was doing previously. I was doing, I don't know, 50, 60 miles a week, and now I maybe do like 10.
Yeah.
Just enough
That's
to get
still
out.
a lot. But is it like a passion? Do you just do you get excited
Oh,
to
yeah.
like wake up and run and
I do not like getting out of bed and running.
Right.
I enjoy the afternoon run
Okay.
when possible. No, there's no waking up early and running. That brings a smile to my face.
yeah.
Sometimes it needs to be done, but
I hear you.
no.
Man, I keep talking about it. I want to like pull the trigger. I can't remember the last time I've been able to run a mile.
Yeah, we talked about it. We'll get you
I
out
know.
there. Train
Like I kind of want to
slowly.
make that a goal, maybe like a New Year's thing, maybe. But like, could you imagine? You know what I mean? Like,
You running a marathon or
no,
me
not
running a marathon?
not a marathon, but like even yourself. I'm sure that you and I have similar, workout routines going
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah,
where it doesn't exist.
it's just not. Yeah,
But like, could you imagine being able to run a mile right now?
no.
Like I ran across the street to get out of traffic, just
I mean,
to,
I could
and
imagine
that
it.
wasn't easy.
Yeah, I could imagine it sucking
Am I being chased?
bad. For me.
We can make that happen.
But I think that'd be a neat goal to kind of see, like, just to get yourself to the point where you could easily run a mile. I think that'd be cool. You know what I mean?
Probably easily jog a mile on an elliptical.
You think?
Probably.
Ellipticals aren't bad.
No, it's
I've-
nice. It's good
Yeah,
on your
it's
knees.
easy, but I think it'd be nice to get outside and do that. But enough about that. Let's get back to business with these beers. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Bring it around. Bring it around.
All right.
So
Mm.
the first thing I notice about this beer is how clear it is.
It's crystal clear.
I mean, you can read the newspaper through that bad boy.
Yeah.
you definitely can. Really good. It's good.
So one of the reasons I wanted to bring this beer is, to me, this is the softest introduction to a hop flavor you can get to.
I could see that. Yeah.
It's got that classic Pilsner lager taste, but at that very back end, you just get that little bit of bitterness, that little bit of crispness, a little bit of, I'd call it an earthy kind of flowery kind of back note.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the start of hops.
Okay.
When you start really, and someone like Taylor, who doesn't typically get the IPAs,
Right.
typically IPAs and him aren't marrying right now.
Right.
I think this is a good way to get him into that and kind of lay the groundwork.
Yeah. I don't. What's? I mean, Brett, you do some home brewing. But what's lagering? What's different about the process of brewing a lager? Do you know versus like a pale ale or something else? An IPA.
I know the basic gist is that lagers are brewed and fermented cold or at like 40 degrees or something like that, whereas ales are warmer.
So
closer
like
to-
instead of keeping like your fermenter at room temperature and dry hopping it or whatever, you're taking a lager and you're like refrigerating it as it's.
Yeah, and I don't know which one does it, but one ferments at the bottom versus the top of the
Pretty
wort.
sure lager's the bottom.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's as far as I know.
How's it doing that? Because of temperature, or is it a different kind of yeast that's sitting at the bottom?
A different strain of yeast.
Wow. That's some fascinating stuff.
Science bomb.
Science bomb.
So what do we think? Is this a drink it or is this a sink it?
This is a drink it for sure for me.
You'd pound
but
a couple?
Yeah, I would definitely. But it's funny that you, Steve, described it the way that you did. Whether it's because in my mind, I was like, all right, and I call all these beers weirdo beers because I could care less. Well, what I'm drinking, and I don't get past like the Yingling at the bar usually. However, recently we have been more adventurous.
Right.
I will say that.
Yeah.
I will say that. But I feel like all the beer that like I claim to not like has like the same general taste foundation. Right?
Okay.
There's some taste that's always there.
Yeah.
And this has like the slightest, tiniest hint of it. Otherwise, it is like a straight up like a beer that I would normally just get and just pound or whatever if I'm into that. So this is really good. This is really good. It just has like that, like you said, it's like the first little tippy toe into that world. So wow.
You're not jumping in the pool. You're just dipping a toe. Oh, let's see how that water is.
You described it perfectly. And it's good.
We
I
talked
like it.
about it. I kind of dove in right into like IPAs and stuff when I started getting into craft beer. But there's something about lagers and pilsners. I feel like sometimes there's an aftertaste for me that lingers too much that I don't like. That it gets overwhelming the more I drink.
Do you get that from
Just a
Prima
little
Pils?
bit. Just a little bit.
I feel like this would be like really refreshing on like a hot summer day. Just get done like cutting the grass, or you just get home from work or something like that. I feel like this would be a really nice, refreshing after activity.
Yeah.
You know?
This is a beer for me that if I'm going to a family member's picnic and I know they're not craft beer people, and you say maybe they'll have that Victory mix pack where I can at least get that Prima Pils, and okay, I can get down with that for the afternoon, especially when it's hot outside.
Yeah,
it's a good beer. I mean, I think most times I'm gonna go towards an IPA or something like that if I go to Victory or whatever. But yeah, this is definitely, I think, an easy drinker for most people. And
next time I go to Victory, I'd probably get this.
Yeah,
I would.
Nice.
It's great when you're done mowing the grass.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now, speaking of pilsners, lagers, those types of beers, they're obviously not as popular. Just to put it bluntly, in the craft beer world, when we go on our beer pages on Facebook, not many people are posting about the latest lager they got. It's the IPAs, it's the stouts, it's the bourbon stouts, it's the sours. Where do we think that comes from? Is it just because the Pilsner doesn't have as far as an out there taste? Are breweries plugging more IPAs, or are we drinking more IPAs so that's what they're making more of?
I'm gonna guess that it's consumer driven. Like the people are drinking. We're drinking more IPAs, and they're catering to us. I would think, because I don't know. It's a tough one, man, because I feel like if you're into craft beer and you're willing to try new stuff, you're going to be able to get into IPAs and things like that, I assume. And if you're not, then you're probably just going to stick with your Bud Light, your Coors Light, Miller Light, whatever it is,
For me, I've always been, not always, but in the past couple of years, I've been IPA. If there's an IPA, that's what I'm going to first.
Yep.
Just recently, especially if I go to like a PJ Wheelahan's or someplace with the family where I'm going to have 2 beers and that's it.
Yep.
I'll purposely try and get a lager or a pilsner first to try and expand my pilsner and lager horizons before I get that IPA.
Nice. That's a good idea. That's something I should think about, because I always just go straight for whatever, like Levante. Like I think about PJs and I go straight for Levante's on there or whatever, and I'll grab one of those. But I kind of feel like I missed out on that. And drinking this Prima Pils, it's just like a really flavorful, great beer. It's really solid, and I'm wondering if I'm missing out on something by ignoring these craft lagers and pilsners. I'm not giving them the attention they deserve. I
would feel like they should be. Well, I guess like you said, I guess in the beer world, the craft beer world, they would be less popular. But I would think that they'd be more popular with everyone else, just because it's not the everyday Miller Lite or Yingling or whatever.
Yeah, I just think there's that weird threshold where, like, once you've gotten to a certain point, you're just going in for like what's trendy, what's popular. I think that has a lot to do with with what people go after also.
But I would imagine if people go into Victory and they're Miller Lite drinkers, and they go up to the bar and they say, "What do you have that's like a Miller Lite?" This is probably what they're going to give you a taste of.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that also brings us to, how do you these beers aren't well rated on Untapped. If you go on Untapped, you're not going to find 4.75 lagers on there, just because people aren't rating them that high. When you are rating a beer on Untapped, Brett, do you look at, are you rating it to your personal taste, or are you rating it to the style? Like, are you saying, well, this is like a 4 for me, but in the Pilsner world, it's probably like a 4.75. Do you rate to the style, or do you kind of rate to your personal preference?
Most times I'll rate on my taste. Only if it's a style that I truly don't like, will I give it? I'll try to give it style points.
I kind of do the same thing because Untapped is for me. And I know
Yeah.
a lot of breweries, unfortunately, will say, well, that beer is a 3.25. We're not going to brew that again. But for me, Untapped when I go through, I want to know what I liked. I have recently started doing, like, if I really don't like a style, I'm not a big smoked beer guy.
Right.
If I have a smoked beer, I probably won't rate it at all because I'll know I didn't like it because it's a smoked beer. That's not my style.
Yeah, no, I can't stand smoked beers. I do the same thing. I think I rate more off of what I like more than the style. But if there's a style that I don't necessarily like, and I drink I think about that East Branch Kolsch Der Bock. That's not a style that I usually like or will go for. But when I had it, I absolutely loved it and was blown away. So like I probably rated that really high. Just because I was not expecting to like it that much, and because it, exceeded my expectations, I gave it a really high score.
I know we've talked about that beer before. I've never had a beer that made me want to take another sip as quickly as that beer did.
Yeah, it's a special beer.
You take a sip and it's like, you got it. Oh, let me have another one of that. Let me have another one of that.
Yeah.
And like I said before, it was my Super Bowl beer, so it will always
special memories with
have a
that
place
one.
in my heart.
Brett, I'm going to ask you a few more questions.
Sure.
What got you into craft beer? What was? Can you maybe give us an idea? What got you into it, and what kind of beers you started off with?
Yeah. I had a friend, Jason Hinkle, who he was always kind of in the beer scene, much before I was, and he'd always bring some beers over to try, whether it be in college or whatnot. And he started that ball rolling in getting into beer. Then he started brewing beer, and I learned how to do that.
Nice.
Being around different breweries from the areas I've lived in and moved to only further enhanced all the different beers that I've wanted to try.
Yeah.
But my first beer that I can remember drinking that was craft that I kind of found on my own was the Harpoon Winter Warmer.
Okay.
I have no clue how I found it or why, but I remember it had such a distinct taste that was different than...
What kind of style is that? Do you remember what it is?
Maybe a winter spiced beer.
Okay.
It just had a lot more flavor that I wasn't used to. So I remember picking up 6-packs and kind of saving them for special occasions.
Nice.
So that was what the beer that got me into craft beer.
Okay. Nice. That's awesome. How long ago was that, do you think?
That must have been 7 years ago. Maybe.
Okay.
Right out of college, when you finally save up enough money to start buying some craft beer.
Yeah, right. Nice. What do you think? Should we crack the next beer and get into a review?
Let's get out. Well, before we get into the next one, did we determine that is a
Oh,
drink?
yeah.
Yeah, let's drink it.
That's a drink it, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Should we rate it?
No.
No.
No, it's just for
Just
taste.
drink it or sink it. What do we have there?
All right, so what I've got is Maine Beer Company from Freeport, Maine. This one is called Dinner.
Wow.
So the first beer that I had from them was Lunch.
Yep.
And I was at a party, had to be 4 or 5 years. No, probably a little longer than that. I'd have to look on Untapped to know for sure. This was in the days where Heady Topper was rare. You had to know somebody that knew somebody that was in Vermont that got some Heady Topper.
To get lunch?
Yes. Well,
Okay. Or you're just saying it was in that time period.
So it was in that time period, and we heard this guy that had some Heady Topper, and I got invited to this party. I was like, great, I'm going to try Heady Topper. I'm fired up about this beer. And we had the Heady Topper, and it was great. And also in the cooler was this beer Lunch from Maine Brewing Company that I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
And I had that beer, and it blew me away. Heady Topper was great and had all the hype, but because this Lunch I had never heard of, I was like, man, I got to try this.
Yeah.
So Dinner is their double version of that IPA.
I mean, this is pretty much a whale, isn't it? I mean, this is difficult to get.
It is difficult to get, and I got to give props to my boy Bob. Bob, a friend of mine, his in-laws are up that way.
Oh, that's awesome.
He said, hey, Steve, I'm going up to Maine. Do you want any beer? And almost jokingly, I said, well, let's get some dinner. And I guess that night he asked his in-laws if they could get the dinner, and they called him back and they're like, you got to be at like the brewery on a certain day. Like you can't just walk in and get this stuff.
Right.
But they went up and they happened to
did
hit
it?
the right day.
Wow.
So it passed from his in-laws to him to my buddy Fish, who I had dinner with this past weekend, who lives in Jersey.
Right.
So
Nice.
it's come through many hands to get dinner for the podcast.
That is awesome.
Very cool.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
So cheers. Let's pass it
Dinner.
around. Get into a little Maine Brewing Company dinner.
Oh,
Now,
that's a nice nose.
immediately you look at this and you are not seeing through this beer.
No, this is hazy.
It's hazy. It's not as thick kind of haze as you might see in some other beers, but it definitely has that opaqueness to it. It definitely has an aroma coming off of it, definite hop aroma getting you as you get your nose to it.
That's fantastic.
I'd want that at my last supper.
Yeah. Right. Dude, I'm really impressed with this.
I smelled it, I saw it, and I was expecting to absolutely hate this beer. And I saw that it was a double IPA,
Yeah.
and I think it's brilliant. I think it's really good.
Really.
Like it tastes really good. It's not as harsh as it smells.
It's to me, there's a lot more balance in the taste. There's a lot of IPAs, a lot of double IPAs that you get more hop than everything else. To me, this is a good marriage of hops, malt. It's all kind of coming together as one.
Yeah. A lot of times when I have double IPAs, I'm always worried about, if it's not like a great brewery or whatever. I just feel like I run into really malty, sweet double IPAs. And I'm just guessing that in the brewing process, to balance that or to make sure that you're hopping it enough, maybe, I don't know, but doing it properly to get that balance. I'm assuming that's something that's somewhat difficult to do, and why these double IPAs that are so hoppy and are so balanced are so well received and loved, because I mean it's just such a great balance of the juiciness, the citrus, the earthy, the malt, the hop, whatever it is. I mean, it just all marries so well together, and I think this does it perfectly.
It's a really nice beer. Brett, what do you think?
I think this is great. It has that hop character without being too sweet. That you can sit down and drink that whole bottle and
And not feel like your teeth are going to peel off.
yeah,
Right.
it's not like hop candy.
Mhm.
Yep, man, I'm really impressed.
So now what Maine just did to us now, and we can get into this a little bit later, they just came out with Second Dinner.
What?
They have a new beer called Second Dinner, and I haven't heard any reviews on it or know if it's a bigger version of dinner,
Purple?
if it's a different version of dinner.
Huh?
But it's now called Second Dinner. It just came out. I think they just announced it a week or two ago.
Yeah,
Has
I
it been
didn't see
released?
that.
I don't know if they released it. I just saw Second Dinner was out there, and I was like, oh man, now I got to go get this beer.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's crazy.
So Bob, if you're listening, Second Dinner,
Yeah.
Please.
if you're up
Hey,
for Christmas
Bob,
time.
Thank you for hooking up the main dinner. That's we
Thanks,
really
Bob.
appreciate that. Thanks, Bob. Have you ever been there? Have you been to Maine?
I have
Maine
not
Brewing?
been to Maine. I've not been to Maine Brewing.
I've been a couple times. Our family has a house up in Maine. This little island off of Maine, so off of South Bristol. So when I drive up there, the last couple times, what I've done is I try to go through Massachusetts to hit Trillium or whatever I can. I usually stop in Portland.
Bathroom breaks, right?
Yeah. I'll stop in Portland and try to hit Bissell Brothers, even though every time I've gone, I've struck out on cans at Bissell Brothers. I have not had a successful Bissell trip.
They don't have just cans. I know Swish is kind of hit or miss.
No, but like every time I've gone, the stuff that's there is sold out.
Oh wow.
Like they'll be like, okay, can release today. We're doing all this. Here's the allotments. And I get there like 3 hours after they're open and it's gone. I want to say that maybe I just was going on bad days. Like maybe I went on like a Sunday or a Friday, and they take whatever day I keep happening to go past there. They're doing like no allotments, so let you buy
so-
whatever you want, and it just wipes them out.
Guys in front of you are picking up like 6 cases.
Yeah, I guess.
You get them guts.
But I've been to Maine twice. I don't think I've had a beer there yet, though. I think I was just going in. It's a really small bar. I think they're going solar. They put a bunch of solar stuff out there. And they've got a nice area outside where they usually have a food truck or something going on. And and I usually go in and grab like a case of lunch, and then they have a bunch of loose bottles, and then I'll grab like a couple of each that, looks decent or whatever. But yeah, man, I got a really nice picture. I don't know if it was the first time I had lunch. I think it might have been. I grabbed a glass and I got to our place in Maine, and it's a beautiful day. You're on the water, and I cracked the beer and poured it, and I got this beautiful background, you know what I mean? And just had it on the front porch there in Maine, and it was just it was an amazing experience. I've got a special spot in my heart for Maine Beer Company.
That experience, everything surrounding you having the beer can affect that beer.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, it was like one of the best beers ever, and the whole experience of it probably had a lot to do with it.
Absolutely.
You're on the road all day. You're in a special place with your family, all that stuff.
So what do we?
Yeah. What do you think about this out of 5?
That's what I was just about to say. We need to rate this guy.
We forgot about it last week. We went on to break and everything without doing it.
I'm not going to let that happen.
Can't let it happen.
I can't let it happen.
Brett, what do you got?
I have a 4 or 5 for this beer.
4 or 5?
I want to give it a 4.75. I'm into it. I'm really, really enjoying this.
I'm going to give it a 4 or 5. I think it's a really solid brew.
Yeah.
5.
Wow.
Double IPA.
Double
5.
IPA. I think it's delicious, babe. Jackie's over there giving me faces. Jackie, this beer is delicious. I can't help it.
It's better than dinner itself.
I'm speaking from my heart. She said, I want supper. Yeah, she has a good point. Instead of calling it second dinner, they should have called it supper.
Yeah, maybe.
Missed opportunity. But I give it a 5. I think it's really good. It surprised me. Like I said, the smell and the way it looked to me, and that it was a double IPA. I was going into it really thinking that I wasn't going to like it, but if I saw somebody with that, I would want to drink it.
Yeah. Well, you probably won't ever again.
Probably won't ever
rare,
again.
But if so, it'll probably be right here.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I'm
really
hitting
liked
home
it.
runs.
Yeah, man.
That was
You
great.
are.
I got
Yeah,
2 drinkets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on point.
If you're
man.
keeping score at home, folks.
I think Maine's one of my favorite breweries. I think it's like I didn't realize it.
They just did a collab with one of your other favorite breweries, Half Acre.
Did
and
they?
I don't remember what it was called. I saw it briefly, and I never saw it out anywhere. I would have bought it, but I saw that they were doing a Half Acre collab.
Interesting. I have
Yeah.
to look that up.
Their labels are just so clean.
They're plain.
They pull you to it.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
they,
it's so simple. Nothing crazy.
and they do the weird bottle size. Like what? How many ounces is this?
16.
1.9 ounces.
What?
So it's not 16 ounces.
1.9 liters?
1.9 ounces.
Oh, okay.
0.9, right?
I'll let you read it. One pint,
0.9.
0.9 ounces.
Not quite 17.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why not just 16? I don't know.
I think it's 500
16.9.
milliliters.
Is that what it is? Is that what it comes out to?
Was that a
who
math
else-
conversion you just did? Or did you, did you just know that because you're a scientist?
Yeah.
Okay. You just did that conversion real quick?
But who else does bottles this size?
Goose Island, Bourbon County.
Yeah.
And
the
that's
only
pretty
other
much
one I
it?
know.
Yeah.
Grolsch, maybe? I don't know. They might be.
Maybe I haven't thought
Very
about
interesting. What
Really good.
yeah, I'm so blown away that you like it so much. Dude.
Really, really good.
You're gonna get this guy on Untapped.
that. Did I not tell you?
You said that.
I said
you
it.
called
Yo,
that.
honestly, you guys are like, nobody ranks lagers. I'm like, yo, I'm ready to just like go on there and rank lagers all day. Like,
Yeah, then you have a dinner and
5.
you're like, what?
5. 5. All of a sudden, lagers are like super popping, and everybody's like, whoa, who's this lager guy?
You're gonna completely swing the industry.
And co-host Kev is like 0.2.
Yeah, straight
Oh,
up.
that's so funny. Yeah, dude. I think Maine's one of my, I love this everything from this place.
We might have to take a road trip up there at some point.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun if we could swing a way to go up there and then also stay at the house.
Have a show up there.
That would be
Take it on a
nuts.
road.
Yeah.
Man, we should do that, Taylor.
Might be Brews.
It might be
Road trip.
Road trip.
road trip and then stay at the house up in Maine.
Oh, wow.
That would be pretty nuts. Just
That'd
like maybe for a night or two if we could pull it off. That'd
Yeah.
be crazy. All right. Well, hey, let's take a break. We'll be back in a minute and we'll crack our next beer.
Everybody, next week is the last week of the year for the Might Be News Network. It's the mid-season finale week. It's crazy. So we got a new episode of Might Be News, new Relatable Radio, new Might Be Sports, and an all-new Novak and Franz next week. Then we're going to take a couple weeks off for the holiday, let everybody spend time with their kids, drink beer, do whatever they want to do. But yeah, it's the mid-season finale week. Finally here. Might Be News Network everywhere.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Might Be Brews. Make sure you listen to us on any podcast platform that you choose. Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play.
Yeah, you got them all.
They're all out there.
We coming out on anything new? Didn't you say CJ was going to get us on YouTube and stuff like that?
We're working on a way to get on the Amazon podcast.
I'm an Amazon Music subscriber, so I would like that.
This way you could tell Alexa to play
Ooh,
our shows.
that would be dope. That would be real dope.
That would be real cool.
2019 goals.
Yeah,
Cool. Well, and absolutely tell your friends about us. I know you got one guy, one girl that you know that drinks craft beer. Tell them about us.
spread the word.
Get us out there. Check us out on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Might Be Brews.
Absolutely.
Check us out. John took a trip up north,
I did.
went a little road tripping on us.
Yeah, so I had to go visit a customer up in Peabody, Maine, or Massachusetts. It's spelled like Peabody, but they pronounce everything goofy up there, so Peabody. And
Let's not act like we don't pronounce anything silly
you're right.
down here.
You're right. It's
Use
just easy.
guys.
Yeah, use guys.
I'm a use geyser.
Are you?
I'm a total use geyser.
Yeah, I'm from all over the place, so I don't think I really talk like anywhere.
I just say John all the time.
I say that
Very
a bit.
Philly.
Pass that John.
Yeah.
I need that John.
That John.
That John is hot.
Yep.
That John is John.
So yeah, I go up to work with this customer in Peabody, and I drove right down the street and stayed in Linfield, Mass. There's a really cool shopping center next to there. I've actually stayed there before. It was funny when I walked into the hotel. I was like, "Oh shit, I've been here before." So anyway, I I go back to the shopping center that's behind there because they have a Yard House, which I think is like a national chain. I think I've been to a Yard House in Indianapolis and whatever. So there's a million beers on tap.
There's one in King of Prussia.
Yeah, I haven't been yet though. Have you?
I was there. It was
Nice.
It was really solid.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Bunch
I
of
had the
beer.
wife and kids there. Lots of different beers. The kids liked all the food. It was a good
Yeah.
spot.
So I walk in there and I'm not really sure what I'm gonna get. They had a flyer in the beer menu that was like, "Oh, chalkboard series. We've got from Founders. We've got KBS. We've got CBS and all this stuff." And I was like, "Oh snap!" But they didn't have any of it left. They only had I don't know. Was it like is there a bastard that they do?
There's Dirty Bastard, isn't there?
Yeah, something like that, or an old man something.
Backwoods.
Backwards, Bastard.
I think that's what they had.
Dirty Bastard is the Scotch ale.
Okay. Yeah, I think they had Backwoods, but whatever. I ended up picking like I did a flight of like maybe 4 or 5 local beers that I hadn't had before. And maybe I had them before, but they had night shift on tap there. So I got a couple night shift and I was really excited because I don't ever get that much. So I get done dinner, I get done having my beers, and I'm getting ready to walk back to the hotel, but I decide I'm going to go to Whole Foods and maybe like get a pint of ice cream or something to take back to the hotel room to kick it the rest of the night.
A little Ben and Jerry's. You're
Yeah.
getting it fresh up there.
Yep. So I walk into the Whole Foods and I'm like, I'm going to check out the beer selection. And I walk up to the beer selection and I'm like, holy shit. It was almost an entire wall of night shift, which was crazy. They just had so much effing night shift. I couldn't believe all the colors. And I brought a bunch of different ones back. And that's actually one of the ones I brought here today. So we'll crack this open now. This is Jump Rope. It's a New England IPA from Night Shift. It's a really cool label. I love the little owl guy on here. But let me see. Does it have a? It doesn't say the alcohol. It says alcohol by volume, but it doesn't say a number. So whatever. I'll crack this and pass it around. So anyway, I get there. I can't believe how much Night Shift's there. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I start picking stuff out. And the guy walks up to me and says, hey, you look like you need some help. And I'm like, kind of. I'm just overwhelmed. There's just so much stuff here, and I'm from out of town, so I'm really interested to see what you guys got. So anyway, I ended up getting a bunch of night shift. I got second fiddle from Fiddlehead. I got Cat's Meow from Exhibit A, and another one, True North, I think it was called. I don't know if that's the beer or the brewery, but I got that too, all from there. And then of course, when I left there and was driving home, I hit up Treehouse and got 4 cases there.
You got to get a little stop off at there.
Yeah, you have to if you can.
Cool.
All right, cheers, everybody.
8.1 according to Untapped.
Okay.
Is the
Do you see it on the can anywhere?
I didn't look for it on the can.
It's
I just
like it says alcohol by volume, but there's no number printed there. I thought it was kind of weird. Maybe I'm missing it, but
So this is a double IPA.
is it?
This is 7.8. It says
Okay.
alcohol by volume.
We've got different.
Bottom.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
You got some?
Did you see what I'm talking about?
Oh, it is. Yeah, I do see it. Okay. Yep. It's printed. That's weird. It's like printed on the bottom by the date.
Maybe because it varies. It must.
11/12. It's a month old.
Would it vary?
New England Double IPA. Jump Rope. Very cool.
It's got a sweetness to it up front, but then it kind of fades away.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll tell you what, man. I don't think anything's gonna live up to dinner right now.
No.
Yeah, that was.
I kind of have that feeling.
Maybe we should have had that last.
Taylor's shaking his head like that shit ain't nothing like that dinner.
Taylor's drinking nothing but dinner now.
Start making a lot more trips to Maine.
He's like, yo, you going to Maine? You going up that way? Bring me back some bottles.
Where's that John?
I want the dinner, John.
It's a second dinner, John.
You know, it's one thing for you guys to be like, hey, you heading out? Can you grab me anything? But now my brother's going to be hitting me up. Yeah, when you're up that way, grab me some beers.
Yo, bring me back a couple of dinners.
I got to see if you like lunch. You might like lunch. Lunch is just a lighter version of that.
Oh,
So you might be really into it.
wow.
We're taking all the thunder away from night shift. Keep
Well,
going
I
back to
mean,
dinner.
it's a good beer. Let's not, it's a solid double IPA.
No, it's good. Man,
This is
it's
like local
acidic.
to this is like local to Boston.
Yeah, this is a Massachusetts brewery. I don't know.
Somerville.
Somerville, Mass. Nice.
I used to go to this brewery quite a bit.
I've never been.
I went there. Me and Laura went there. I don't know, when I ran the Boston Marathon once. It was small and tiny, and
Yeah.
now it has grown to a.
Is it a bigger facility? I mean, yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. It's really cool. They have tons of beers, and they do a great tour.
that's
Now,
awesome.
They're another one that I see. They put out a lot of different beers.
Yeah.
And part of that is the beer culture. Are we becoming just a beer drinking? We have to just try a new beer. Are we able to have the same beer twice?
Yeah.
I guess is the underlying question.
Right. Yeah. So that we were talking about an article. I saw it getting passed around on Beer Nerds, online on Facebook and stuff. Hey, beer fans, it's okay to have the same beer twice. And I kind of feel like it's being disrespectful to beer drinkers. Like, hey, stop doing that to the industry. Like, is there a problem with it, or what? Why is there like that condescending attitude in it?
The article did come off a little preachy to me.
Yeah.
And I see the point of the article. Absolutely. I see their point of it, but I thought their approach to it was just a little condescending is a good word for
Yeah,
it.
I mean, look, I like drinking the same beer, but usually like on an annual basis. Like I'm looking forward to having, this year's whatever. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of a good example other than like the bourbon counties and the stuff that gets released that we've been grabbing. But every time that that something hits and that hasn't been out in a while, that's like a seasonal thing, I get excited for it and I go get it. So I like that. I can't say I necessarily. I've never been the type of person that goes to the same brewery over and over again just to try the different beers that they're cranking out. You know what I mean?
And part of the reason that I felt preached at is because one of the things I enjoy is going out and trying different beers.
Yeah.
And it's not because I have this ticker mentality that I have to tick off another beer. I just like to explore and and get into different styles and flavors and different takes on the same beer. How many different double IPAs that we've had that taste completely different?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a do what you like.
Night Shift does a cool thing too, where they have a beer that's their base recipe.
Yeah.
And every time they add a different hop, and it's called one hop this time. And
Okay.
it lets the hop be the like flavor profile.
Sure.
And each beer can taste completely different. As you know, hops have those different flavors that are pulled out through the beer. So
Yeah. I've seen a lot of beers do that. Like a lot of places do that. Like East Branch has Current, where they put out that beer. I've seen a lot of companies do it. Sterling Pig.
Le Cabre does it with their Shatter series.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And as soon as I see Mosaic in anything, I go straight to it. If you
Abs-
put Mosaic
Beacon.
in the name of a beer, I'm going to it.
Yep, me too. But yeah, I just kind of feel like a lot of the reason I like craft beer so much is like it's an adventure. I like trying something new. But I know what I like. I know the styles that really get me. And if I see something I haven't had that's a style or a variant of something that I think I like, I'm going to get excited and try it.
Adventure is a very good word.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is to me. But, I found it interesting that it's almost like people are giving these breweries a hard time. And I'm trying to find the numbers, but yeah, let's say, I think it's last year, Evil Twin put out 108 new beers, right? Bear Bottle Brewing, I've never heard of them, did 138 new beers. Jack Yo's did 137. Other half did 126 unique beers last year.
That's
That's
what's
2.5 new
Like
beers
one every
per
3
week.
days.
That's what I was going to say. One every 3 days.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
it's an insane. I mean, I'm sure if they clocked Tired Hands, you know what I mean? They're going to have a million different beers in a year.
And how many of those beers are truly different?
3.
Look, Who knows? Maybe they are all different. They're different recipes, whatever it is. But I almost felt like the article's knocking them, and it's like, but don't they have lines
Yeah.
every day for can releases every time they do it? Aren't they always packed? Don't they have multiple facilities? They've got 2 buildings that they sell beer out of. Like the business side of me is like, hey, they've found their niche and they're going to get it while they can. And more power to you is the way I see it. If the people are there buying it, get it.
They wouldn't be making that many different beers if people weren't there buying them.
Yeah.
There's no way.
There's a testament to their craft too. If they can make a different beer, and people still line up for it, that's a lot of technique and talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'll play devil's advocate and say, how bad do you feel for a brewery that's put out, 4 or 5 beers and it's just been a great seller? They just do these beers well and they sell like crazy, and now they're losing how much, they're losing their market share because so many other breweries are popping up and so many people are putting out these different things. Like, is there something to be said for making a great beer consistently all the time?
Consistency is one of the most difficult things that a brewer can do.
Right.
Putting out the same beer the same way. And as much as you can talk about anything, the leader in that is Budweiser.
Sure.
You can get a Budweiser made in St. Louis. You can get one made in New Jersey. You can get one 5 years ago. You can get one five years from now. And it's going to taste like the exact same Budweiser. And that is not easy to do.
I can only imagine. That's got to be, it's an amazing feat.
Especially to the scale.
Sure. Absolutely. But don't you feel like do you feel bad for those companies that have that consistency but are losing their market share?
I feel bad for anybody that's losing their market share. I
Sure.
want to see all brewers flourish.
But
And
do they need to adapt? It's like adapt or die.
that's a tough
Well, it
question.
depends on the brewery. Like if you're a namesake and what you do is good, then I doubt you need to adapt. But if you're being stagnant, then it might be time to adapt to reach new markets.
I like to think that there's going to be room for everybody.
Absolutely. And it's a volatile market. You know, what people like. 5 years ago, the term New England style IPA wasn't in the lexicon.
Yeah.
Nobody was saying that phrase.
No. I'd be really curious to know, like, since this craft beer revolution, let's say, what, you know, wherever all of these tree houses and Trilliums and Tired Hands and all these breweries that start with T, I guess, you know, they come out with all these crazy beers. Like, what's happened to the sales of Victory's Prima Pills?
Yeah.
You know, like, was that just like such a great seller nationwide, or at least wherever it was distributed? And then, you know, are they losing, you know, was that, has the stock on that beer dropped?
I don't know.
I'm really curious to know, you know,
still out there. Before we get too far away from it, we got to make sure we rate our jump rope here.
I was going to forget.
He was writing it
I
down.
think you could tell, Taylor.
I wrote it down. I wrote it down. I was about to point it to you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to give it a little too inside baseball info here, but
Yeah, you're on point.
Taylor was writing notes over there to get us to rate this beer.
All right. You guys go ahead. I'm going to take another sip here and get my mind back into it.
I think it's a 4 for me. I think it's a good beer. Obviously, after the dinner, it paled in comparison. I don't want to sound that mean about it, but it's a solid beer. I'll give it a 4.
I'm going to give it a 4 too. 4 as well. Not a 4 too. 4 as well.
You're not allowed to go to 0.2.
No,
it's got to be 2.5.
Yeah, so 4. I think that it was that nice malty front, and then the hops were there, but nowhere near what dinner had kind of brought to the table.
2.5.
Not feeling it.
Not feeling it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go like a 3.75.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna go 3.5. I'm gonna go 3.5.
3.5.
Listen, it's good. It's a decent beer. I think, to me, what's happening here is there was a lot of acidity there, and I feel like it didn't start off where I wanted it to, and then it got real acidic, and then it dropped off again. And I didn't get a nice balance there. But I don't know. That's what I think.
Well, if you might have heard, we got Brett cracking some more beers. He has brought us a KBS vertical.
We're gonna go ham on a vertical. Taylor, do you understand what a vertical is?
So if I remember correctly, this is a chronological trip in time as far as beer goes.
This is the same beer. This is Founders Brewing KBS, Kentucky Bourbon Stout. Is that right?
Kentucky Breakfast Stout.
Kentucky Breakfast Stout. Highly acclaimed, it says on the bottle.
So
Now, I'm a huge KBS fan.
Okay.
This is one of those beers. You remember CBS we had recently? It's from the same brewery, Canadian. Throws in a little bit of maple, some sweetness in there. But KBS is just a fantastic, bourbon barrel aged stout. It's bourbon barrel aged, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So their breakfast stout is their coffee stout. They do this version, which is a bourbon version. They do the CBS, which is the maple and bourbon version. So, Brett, what years do we have here?
We're doing a 2015, 16, 17, and 18.
This is incredible.
We'll see how it all
That's awesome.
comes together.
So what are we starting with? Are we going oldest to newest, or are we going newest to oldest?
I don't know. How do people usually do this? I can't say I've been in the game long enough to have much vert experience.
Me either. This is my first time doing it, so
Nice.
Let's go newest to oldest.
yeah, I think the flavors will be more present in the newest.
Yeah, good call. Let's do that.
All right.
All right, which one's the newest? All right.
Oh, cool. I will pour it up first.
Yeah, we got 4 solo cups out in front of each of us. Each of us have our own
Play beer
4
ball.
cups, and that'd be a fun game.
This is a picture for the gram right here.
Yeah, we need to get this on the gram.
So
Awesome.
I have what we were talking about last time. I have my that Belgian beer that I enjoy, the Cuvée von Kaiserblau.
Yeah,
That I have my boy Scott. I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast.
I think so.
Did
I think
He's
Scotty
got
hooked
me
it
a
up.
2012 coming, so I will have a 2010 through a 2017 of the same beer.
That is
There's-
incredible.
Steve, put that next to the.
We'll
Yeah,
get them
let's
all
let's
lined
snag
up
a
here,
picture.
nicey nice. So hopefully, my goal is to get 10 years vertical.
Yeah.
That's what I want to try and do. I want to try and get the 2010 through the 2019, and then have a bunch of people over, because that's a lot of beer.
Yeah, that's a ton of beer. But you brought one of those to the Craft Beer Fest, right?
I brought one of those to Brett's Craft Beer Fest,
Yeah.
and it was pretty well received, I thought.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty neat.
not a lot of high expectation knowing what the style was, but that blew my mind.
You're not a Belgian quad, Belgian dark ale kind of fan?
I'm not, and it was great. It was smooth. It was nice.
Cool. I'm glad I could introduce you to it. Here's
All
a
right,
little
cheers,
cheers
everybody.
on some
This is 17 or 18?
This is 18.
18.
18
All right.
KBS
And,
coming at you. Strong bourbon right off the nose. Definite roastiness to the
Oh,
nose.
I love this.
Wow.
This is one of those beers that sticks to your insides.
Yeah, it does. I love the mouthfeel. I love a thicker, chewier stout. Man, that's good. It's got a little bit of burn. I'm
Coffee
getting a
definitely
little bit of
shining
burn.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of
Chocolatey.
definitely got that alcohol heat to it.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. All right, I don't want to dive into it too deep, but Brett hosted a craft beer fest. Was it your 6th annual?
This was number 6.
Met a lot of really nice dudes. It was a ton of fun. But what do you think was your favorite beer? Let's say that, because I think we were just talking about it on break. What'd you rank, or what did you log? Like 30 some different beers?
I think it was 31 different beers
Yeah,
that
so-
I tried, and we left before the end of the day. The wife Uber came and picked us up there.
Yeah.
But, those guys were still going strong.
I don't think I could have taken much more. I don't know if you could tell, but there was
There
a
was-
moment where I was like, I'm feeling maybe a bit better than I should, and I'm gonna go watch some TV.
I was going to bring this up, that there was a point of the evening where we lost John.
Oh,
He drifted over to the couch and he was watching the football game, and I was like, "Hey John, we just cracked this open." And I kind of just heard,
I had the fridge behind me, and I kept just like refilling my glass and taking sips of beer. But at some point, I was like, you know what it was, man? I think, Brett, you cooked some amazing food. There was so much stuff there. I was eating and drinking so much. I literally felt like I could not consume another ounce or gram of anything.
I was really good that day about only taking pretty small samples. And I don't know if you noticed, I probably filled up this Yeti cup like 5 times that day.
That's
like
smart.
I was drinking a
Yeah.
lot of water throughout that day,
Good.
because I knew I had stuff to do on Sunday and I couldn't be a shit out mess on Sunday. So I was good to go on Sunday because of my trusty Yeti
you're
water
a better
cup.
man than me.
I was
Yeah.
good when I got home. By the time I got home, I was good. But I started to take it real slow at the end there. The last hour or two.
Picking up steam.
I was like, hey, yeah, you were still climbing. I remember telling you, I was like, look, man, I'm at 30,000. If I go any higher, I'm going out of the atmosphere. I can't take any more. I'm gonna have to just cruise for a minute.
There was a very cool eclectic group of people there.
Yeah.
And even just in the 2 brothers that I met, one was a long-haired, I don't want to say hippie because it sounds negative, but
Obi?
a
That was
looser
Obi.
guy, vegan, and his brother is more of a button-up, glasses wearing. But everybody being into these different craft beers is so great to see different people from different backgrounds all coming together around beer.
Yeah, that's another perfect example of the community. But what do you think was your favorite beer? Because I just want to say that I forget the style, but there was a Veil beer.
Do you remember if it was sour?
The Pink Ferrari? The
No, it
IPA?
wasn't an IPA. It was in a bottle. I think it was a sour.
Oh.
It was that big Veil bottle. But that one to me stood out and
Oh,
was
that was
just
the
like,
sour we had really early in the
Yeah.
evening. I remember.
That's probably why I
wanna-
remembered so well.
Serenity, maybe?
Maybe I didn't log anything. I've kind of been on a untapped hiatus, but man, I just absolutely loved that beer. That one stood out to me. And actually, the first beer I had when I got there was some kind of stout that was it was like eating a Snickers.
That's from, I think, Veil.
Was that Veil too?
Hoggle,
Yeah. That was it.
It's in purple can.
Yeah. Oh, that was ridiculous.
Unconditional, I think, was the Veil sour.
Yeah, that was
a
fantastic.
really sour.
Yep.
I talk about sours. I like a little bit of tartness, but not real sour, and that one really had the pucker your jaw sourness to it.
Did you have a favorite from the night? Either of you?
I think my favorite was that one lambic we had at the end of the night that I don't know if you got any or not. It was the paging through my Untapped here. Homage from Brewer S1E4 Fontaine. I'm probably pronouncing that awfully, but
I remember that.
you might have been on the couch at that point.
Okay.
I don't remember if you were there for that. Who was the guy that came late that brought that?
Darren, he's always got a few good beers up his sleeve.
Yeah, I was excited to see that one come up, and it was a really nice beer.
Yeah.
Really nice beer.
What was did you have a favorite, Brett?
I did. I got to thank my buddy Seth. The boysenberry. It was from DeGard.
Yeah, you had a lot of DeGards there, right?
Yeah, we did a little DeGard hose.
Is that what you call that?
I don't know.
It's not a vertical if I do like if I did all the variants of Bourbon County from 2018, that's not a vertical.
Would it be
The vertical is
horizontal?
The number would it be horizontal?
Yeah.
What would that be?
Can be.
What would you call that if you're just trying like a bunch of beers? I don't know.
That's just variants.
Yeah. Would you say hose? Is that a thing?
It's hose or hosa? I don't know.
Okay.
It says that it's a ghost.
Okay.
But no, I was a fan of the boysenberry, which was a sour or a lambic. It just had so much flavor.
Yeah, you're not really a sour guy.
I'm not,
That's interesting.
and that's why I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It was almost like wine. Kind of had like a winey
Yeah. Interesting.
beer taste. Yeah, it was good.
So speaking of verticals, as we're talking here, we're pouring and sipping on the 2017 version of the KBS. The first thing I notice when I drink it is I don't get as much coffee. I feel like the coffee's faded a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Not as much coffee.
Chocolate. You get a lot
More
more
Yeah,
chocolate.
more chocolate. Almost like a milkiness.
Yeah, I get more chocolate in the second
And
one.
and there's really no alcohol burn to that at all. Obviously.
Yeah, it's that alcoholness that's definitely faded off a little bit. Cool. So we are cracking the 2016 here.
Did we go over what we were tasting in the first one?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. A little bit of definitely coffee, a little alcohol to it. As John's passing around the 2016 here.
Highly acclaimed KBS, a flavored stout, is good for everything a flavored stout ought to be good for. Ale brewed in chocolate and coffee, aged in dark bourbon barrels.
Now, which one is this that you're pouring? This is the 16. I think the 16 edges out the 17. I think it's for some reason there's something that's smoother and it's more well-rounded or something.
I have said before that I like coffee and beers, but I'm not a huge coffee guy. So the coffee fading out is good for me.
Nice. I like coffee and beers like that Wawa one. Have you had that yet?
I haven't had it yet. I picked some up, but I have not actually drank it yet.
Oh yeah, thank you. You're the one that grabbed it, right?
I hooked it up for
I
you.
appreciate it.
We went out to Exton Bevco.
Yeah.
A couple 4-packs.
No, I really enjoyed that actually. I was surprised. It's heavy on the coffee. But it was yummy.
So I just took my first sip of the 16, and that's really good.
That's really, really good.
That's right about where you can still taste the bourbon. It's still coming through. The coffee's faded out. I feel like it's rounded out is probably the best term I can come up with for the flavors of it.
I still like the 17 the most so far.
Me too. I'm getting.
I actually do also.
Ooh.
You get like weird, like fruit notes kind of in the 16.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm picking up.
Interesting.
Maybe I'll drink some more and see if I can get those fruit.
Yeah. I just started pouring the 15. Man, yeah, do you ever think that or have you ever been to a place like a bar that ages beer like this?
No, I haven't.
Every once in a while I see it, and I think it's neat. Like the bottle room's done it, where like I think they hold on to a bunch of stuff, and then randomly they'll be like, "We got 2017 KBS," and there's like 4 or 5 bottles behind the bar that you.
It's a great idea, though.
Yeah, I'm just curious how often people do that.
So the 15 I'm pouring right now.
Maybe it's because of the amount of beers, but I don't taste much of a difference.
From 15 to 16?
Yeah.
I haven't had the 15 yet. Let me get in there.
Yeah.
It's a little flatter.
Yeah, I picked that up. There's a lot less carb at the end.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of like you get the flavors. It's a lot smoother and mellower, and then it just like drops off like a real thin at the end or something.
It does. There's a definite mouthfeel difference to it,
Yeah,
which I didn't expect. I expected that to kind of be the same throughout.
yeah, it definitely is.
So we've had all four.
Is there the newest one? Is there any of that left?
There is.
I'm just gonna do that one more time.
Just to
Come
make
and
sure.
Bring it
full
back
circle.
around, yeah.
So as you have them so far, what's the favorite?
I'm gonna go 17.
You're going 17?
It's got all the flavors there. They're kind of all together. You're not getting one over the other, but it's well rounded, balanced out.
Wait, what is the last one? 15?
Yeah,
15.
2015.
15's the best one for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I thought, where did you think the biggest difference was? I thought the biggest difference was from 18 to 17.
Yeah, I could see that. I thought 15, even though I said it wasn't much different than 16, 15 kind of like just has a weird let off at the end. There's something a little different about that. Maybe it's the carb.
It could be
Yeah,
the
being a
carb.
little
It's
flat,
more
but-
watery tasting.
Yeah, I kind of had that same thought. But I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I really like the 18. It's not too hot. I mean, it's definitely hotter than the others, but I just I'm surprised how much that I feel like there's more going on in the mouthfeel and the flavor profile to me that's standing out and making me enjoy it a bit more.
The heat's there, but it's not overbearing.
No.
Can I see that dinner bottle?
Dinner bottle coming
can I
at you?
just- yeah.
You gonna take a picture?
He's going to take a picture.
Oh man, we've got this guy
He's going to join Beer
Hooked.
Nerds tomorrow.
hooked.
Well, Brett, thanks for bringing this vertical
Yeah,
here. It
thank
was
you, man. I
definitely an
appreciate it.
interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Sounds like we all liked a unique year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I talked to the godfather of beer nerds, F Todd, today.
Oh, nice.
And we were just talking about some side stuff. He's got a clothing line and stuff that he does, and he did an order for me back in the day when I was ordering work shirts for the job I used to work for. So he printed up a bunch of shirts for me. He does screen printing and all that. So I hit him up with to see if he could do some stuff for where I'm at now. And he's not into it anymore, but it was just nice talking to him. So I just want to give him a shout out. Because he obviously runs the Beer Nerds thing, and he's a super nice dude. Always been a great guy. So, F Todd, if you're listening, thanks for everything you do, brother.
I've never met Todd, but we went to the same middle school. So Gordon Middle School,
Oh yeah,
Panthers.
nice.
Shout out! I'd love to meet you sometime, Todd, and have a brew.
It's so weird, man. I've met so many people out of this what do you call it? Softball. I played softball with F Todd and the dude from East Branch and Ryan Dunn from Jackass, and you know what I mean? There was just like
That's an
this whole
eclectic group,
crew,
yeah.
the guy that brews for East Branch. Man, it was just a crazy group of dudes. So many cool people. It's just funny. Like I just always end up going back to like, oh yeah, I know them. I met them playing softball with them. It's just kind of crazy, but
So as we get wrapped up here, this is our last episode, unfortunately, before the Christmas break.
yeah.
We got Christmas coming up real quick. What beers do you have that are Christmas themed? People are coming over. What beers do you have in the house for Christmas that you have out for people?
My dad's coming down our family's going to be down for Christmas, and he's a Scotch guy.
Okay.
So I actually have a bottle of Scotch, and I'm blanking on the name, the brand, but it's
Scotchy, Scotch.
no, it's not Dewar's.
Down
It's
in
Glenfiddich. Glenfiddich,
Oh.
aged in IPA barrels, believe it or not.
Oh,
IPA
interesting.
barrels. And my dad bought it for me the last time we went to Maine, knowing that I'm into craft beer. And I don't know how much IPA I got out of it, but for whatever reason, I thought it was just a fantastic Scotch. So I'm really, really looking forward to having cracking that bottle with him. But for me, a lot of times at the holidays, man, I'm looking forward to like, all right, family's around. I'm not going anywhere. I'm cracking some heavy stouts.
Yeah, it's definitely stout season.
Yep.
Do you have anything special that you're going to have at the house if people are coming over, Brett?
So I'm doing a lot of traveling over
Oh, nice.
over the holidays, going back and forth. I have a few beers lined up with a friend that comes over every year around the holidays that we get out of the cellar, and I'm blanking on a lot of the names off the top of my head, but we'll hit up the cellar.
I always call it my cellar. It's a shelf in my basement. Let's
Yeah.
not be too fancy. I'm definitely I'll have some Mad Elf at the house. It's such a good beer to have. People always like it. You can always just crack a couple Mad Elves open and start the party off because it's a strong beer and it'll come at you a little bit. Celebration Ale from Sierra Nevada is a decent beer to have on hand. It's a wet hop ale. Gives you a little bit of hop. It's definitely malty. It's not a in-your-face hop beer.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that the masses can get into a little bit. Sam Smith Oatmeal Stout. A great one to have on hand if people are into the stouts. Nobody that likes stouts ever... They always love Sam Smith's Oatmeal Stout. To me, it's the best oatmeal stout out there.
I need one of those.
You need one. Like we should stop on the way home.
Get one.
Okay.
At Wegmans.
You can just grab that?
At Wegmans, yeah.
Okay.
You can go pick that up. Der Bock, we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
A good Kolsch to have on hand for people that might be Miller Lite fans.
Absolutely.
And we were talking earlier, the Victory Mix Pack. Get a little Victory Mix Pack. You get some Prima Pills, some Golden Monkey.
Yeah.
Something in there for the whole family.
Absolutely. Do you drink a beer when you're opening presents?
No, not usually.
I feel like somebody posted that recently and was like, hey, what are you cracking for opening presents? And I'm like, I'm probably going to just want a coffee at that
What
point.
hour
I'm trying to
are you
wake
opening
up.
presents?
Not
That's orange
something to
juice.
get up later.
Yeah, I'm trying to get up, not down.
Now, when we go over to
It's that early.
my mother's house later in the evening, then I might crack a beer.
Yeah,
while
like we're going to have
she's-
people over for dinner, I'm sure. Like, I'm going to crack some beers, but
But
not
with the
for-
wife and kids, I'm probably doing orange juice.
'cause I see a lot of people posting pictures like, what's that, the Hardywood?
Oh,
Christmas?
yeah.
Gingerbread.
Yeah. Well, there's gingerbread, but I think there's a Christmas
There's a
morning.
Christmas morning stout.
Yeah, that
I
I always see
actually-
people
I got that.
cracking and posting online Christmas morning.
I got that for my brother last Christmas. That
Nice.
was my Christmas gift to him, and I got it for him before Christmas. I never asked him if he actually had it as Christmas or not.
Nice. All right. Well, hey, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Listen, if you're listening to us, you already know where to find us. So thank you for listening. But if you're not yet, follow us online, social media at Might Be Brews. I'd really appreciate it. Shoot us a message, share the show, tell a friend, whatever you can do to help spread the word, man. We'd really, really appreciate it. And we're so happy that you're listening. So thank you for letting us talk at you for a little bit and sharing this experience with us.
And Taylor, thank you for setting us up on the network here. This is a great time.
Yeah.
And, thanks for having us on.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I said it around Thanksgiving, but I'm thankful for you and getting us on the network and giving us our own show.
I'm thankful for you guys being here. But let me just say, I know it seems like really fast to be taking a break. This is only the 4th episode. But we just wanted to do a break for the holidays, figure everybody's going to be busy anyway.
Yeah.
And
We'll come back strong.
I've been doing this for 17 weeks straight. So I'm ready to just kind of
Are you hype?
take a little
break?
Yeah, take a little 2-week break.
Dude,
you know?
we're here recording and we do it every other week, so it's not that crazy to us. But I just imagine that you sit here almost every day of the week
Yeah,
in your seat with a different group of people just churning out these podcasts.
pretty much. Yeah.
But dude, it's great content, dude. Every episode this week has been awesome.
Thank you.
Even Kevin Reevy calling in to Might Be Sports
Yeah.
was a good episode. He
Oh, it
still
was
did a great job.
It was hysterical. Oh,
Couldn't make it,
it's
but
great. Yeah.
But the girls are fantastic. Relatable Radio, The Wives of the Might Be News Network is a fantastic show. And I'll tell you what, dude, Allison is a sneak. She I had no idea that she's as hilarious as she is.
Yeah, she's really funny.
And she gets
Sneaky.
me. She's
Sneaky funny.
Yeah, she's sneaky funny. I had no clue. And she cracks me up, especially with her online posts with Summer knocking her tree over
yeah.
over
Oh
and
my
over
God.
again.
Yeah, yeah.
She's got a little toddler.
And that's
that
what they talk about on the show.
Yeah. So the show's fantastic. Kev, Danny, everybody. So anyway, we're going to be off for a little while. So you won't hear us until the new year.
It'll
Right?
be probably the 2nd or 3rd week in January for
right.
you guys.
So everybody listening, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Brett,
Happy-
Happy holidays, everybody.
thanks
happy
for coming
holidays.
out, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Brett, thanks for being
Brett,
on.
thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
We're definitely going to bring you back. If you're
Awesome.
into it,
Absolutely.
we're gonna get you
Bring-
back.
bring it back.
Especially if you're bringing 4 KBSs.
Yeah, I'll bring more verticals. Whatever gets me back.
we were thinking the same thing there.
Maybe a hard
But Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year.
holidays.
All that good stuff. And thank you for listening. And we will see you next time.